Club 6440 to order. Our club mission is to provide a supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before we proceed with the meeting, please switch off your cell phones or set them on silent mode. I would like to ask everyone to be standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. And now, with an auspicious meeting this morning, we are going to welcome our Toastmaster, Gus D.
It's still loud. I like that.
Hello Toastmasters and honored guests. As you can hear from that music, is a theme that we're going to be following today, which will be the theme of graduation. And I'm sure some of us, this music brings to memory many years ago. And I'm sure Richard is looking forward to more of it. But probably in the last couple of weeks, the month of May and June, you may have been able to attend a graduation, elementary, kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, and several graduation ceremonies. So we'll be focusing on that theme today. That's the music that many of us can relate with, which at this point will be muted. I try to catch up with Stephen with his technical abilities here. As we can see today, we have a full program planned out. This is a very unique Toastmaster today because we're not only having our speeches, evaluator, table topics, but included in our speech today, it's really the election of officers, which means some people are going to be graduating from what they have been doing and they're moving on to some other level of responsibility. So that's included. But at this time, I want to just talk about some adjustments I have right here in my technical table. I have asked Carrie to be an accountant. Oh, there comes, thank you very much, Erica. Erica is going to be our timer. Thank you for being ready to step up. Susanna,
Sure.
Erica,
I can do it.
please, all honors.
If I get palpitations, I'll let you know. Literally.
So I'm going to be introducing our technical table who is going to help us run the meeting today. And I want to start off with our grammarian for the morning, which is Stephanie Bernibet. Stephanie.
Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, the grammarian has a real important function. Helping you to speak clearly and concisely. I'll be looking for incorrect uses of the English language as well as extraordinary use of the English language. In an effort to expand your vocabulary, the word of the day, auspicious. Auspicious is an adjective. It means attended by favorable circumstances, promising success, opportune, favored by fortune, prosperous, fortunate. I will be listening for anyone who speaks to use the word correctly. If you do not use the word correctly, you will pay 50 cents. If you don't use it at all, you'll pay a quarter. It's up to you. I will be listening to make sure I don't hear conspicuous or suspicious instead of auspicious. I'll give my report at the end of the meeting.
As always, we expect that Stephanie will give an auspicious introduction to what the role she has to play today. Next to help us with our grammar will be in our speaking will be our art counter, Carrie Bird, please.
Mr. Toastmaster, the purpose of the art counter is to know words and sounds used as a crutch or pregnant pause by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds may be or. I will also be listening for double clutches such as I, or this means, all infractions will be 5 cents.
Thank you, Carrie. And to help us move along and able to walk on schedule is our timer will be Erica Banfield.
Thank you, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. The timer has a very important function of assisting the Toastmaster in keeping the meeting on schedule. Each segment of the meeting is timed. When you have 2 minutes remaining, the green card will show. 1 minute remaining, the yellow card will show. And if you tempt me on this auspicious morning, and you do happen to get the red card, I will also infractions on your use of time will be documented, and my report will be given at the end of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. As we look forward to graduation ceremonies, the music we had in the opening, we all just call that music of pomp and circumstance. But that music actually was written a long time ago, and the writer of that music was Sir Elgar, who wrote that music, and it was played when he was given an honorary degree at Yale University. And that was the music that he used, and since then, Princeton, Columbia, and all the institutions, and even today to our little kindergarten, preschool, that music is played to remind us, shows that he had made his mark on the life of every graduate that goes to institutions of learning. Our first prepared speech today is from the Competent Manual number 6. Vocal variety will be for 5 to 7 minutes. And since we're talking on the theme of graduation, this speech that James had longed to give, he has an opportunity today. The commencement speech I never gave. Let's welcome James Bishop.
So I never used this, so today I'm going to try and use it, as uncomfortable as it may be. So this speech, for me, was something that I always thought about giving, was like, if I could be up there and I could be talking, this is what I would say to people with the knowledge that I have of today and what my parents imparted on me as a child. You could also probably title this, Keys to Living a More Auspicious Life. See what I did there? Everyone, we made it. We're finally here. Some of us magna cum laude, some of us sigma cum laude, some of us just thank you laude. But we made it. Now there are 3 things that I would like to impart on you today. 3 simple principles that can help you live a better life. First is fail more. Second is to never be satisfied. And the last thing is time. I'm going to start with the last thing first. There are 86,400 seconds in a single day. 86,400 seconds. I'm going to propose a hypothetical question here. If you were given a bank account with $86,400 and you were told that at the end of the day, what you had not spent would be taken from you, would you strive? Would you work? Would you go forward and live life to spend each and every one of those single dollars? Absolutely you would. There are only 86,400 seconds in a single day. Every single second they slip from you. So if you're not working to better yourself, someone else is. If you're out partying and drinking and having fun, spending time on Twitter, Facebook, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing, someone else is. And it doesn't matter where your degree came from. It doesn't matter if you graduated top of your class or bottom of your class. Because if you're using your time wisely, if you're using each and every moment effectively, then you will get farther in life than those that come from privilege, those that think that just because they graduated with a 4.0, that they are given some sort of right to success. The next thing was imparted on me was and excuse the off-coloredness of this quote, but this was from my father. My father said it to me as a little child. Never be satisfied with your mediocrity, but be pissed off for greatness. What I mean by that is be angry. Be so mad, be so unsatisfied with your status quo that every single morning you have a fire inside of you, a burning desire to have more, to live a better life, not more in the sense of tangible items, but more in the sense of life. Be a better father, be a better husband, be a better boyfriend, be a better citizen, be a better employee, be a better employer, but be better for yourself and for those around you. Now the last piece of information I want to give you is to fail more. The quickest way to double your successes in life is to triple your failure rate. I'll repeat that. The quickest way to double your successes in life is to triple the rate at which you fail. We're all going to fail. I probably failed 16 times before I got up out of bed because I hit the snooze alarm. That was a failure in my life. You're going to have small failures, but those small failures will lead you to major successes down the road. Everything that you did that you failed at will eventually lead you to the one thing that you will find success at. Just because you fail at a relationship doesn't mean to never have another relationship. Just because you fail at a job or a certain career doesn't mean that you're stuck there. Don't woe and swallow. Don't be upset. Just continue to move forward. And one last point on failure. If you fail in life and you fall in life, fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Thank you all. This was the commencement speech that I wish I had the time to give.
Timer, 1 minute on the clock, please. Thank you for doing those evaluations, and we always encourage that those are helpful for each of our speakers. The whole idea of graduation started about in the 11th, or some will say, some research will say in the 12th century. And this was really in Paris, France, where the monks had to go through, they had been an apprentice, and when they went through their training, it was a formal time that they were inducted into society. It was part of a rite of passage that they had to go through to be able to know that they've completed something and now they're ready to be out there in the world to stand separate, they are dignified, and they really achieved something. That was part of what graduation meant for people in the past. As we heard from James, he said he gave us a commencement speech. Thank you very much for doing that. Also, a commencement, a baccalaureate are sometimes different in some graduation. The baccalaureate will just be some had it with a religious implication, that it would be just time that the dean would talk about what the school is about, and usually they will have someone give a spiritual invocation or a spiritual message they had to share. But for you to graduate, you really have to complete certain qualifications. That is, you meet all the academic requirements, you did all your classes and you finished that. You paid all the money that is required from the school. If not, you're not going to get a degree. And also they realize that your attendance have been perfect and they can send you out in a graduation. So when you march through, many people have gone through a graduation ceremony, as you know, but they have to go back and do classes. Any one of you here? I don't want to know now. Our second speaker is working on project number 9, Persuading with Power. As we live in Seminole County, every year in our tax time we see these posters. So we are looking forward to hearing how we're going to be persuaded on the title of this speech, that is, why the Seminole County May 20 voting on the 1% tax sales increase was very positive. Please join me in welcoming and
Objection. Thank you, guys. Indeed, I will be speaking on the Competent Communicators Manual, subject number 9, Persuading with Power, and hopefully it will be an auspicious experience for everybody involved. The objective of the meeting is to persuade the audience to your point of view, your ideas, and to have them take some action. This speech I was actually supposed to be giving on May the 20th. Unfortunately, I wasn't here. And the focus of the speech was the voting which was going on here in Seminole County about the 1-cent sales tax increase. The votes were cast. The informed voters won. The uninformed voters lost. The 1-cent sales tax was approved. 25,000 voted for it. 23,000 voted against it. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and honored guests, good morning.
Good morning.
Seminole County needed this 1-cent sales tax. The reason the Seminole County voters were asked to vote on the sales tax is because the old sales tax bill expired last year. And Seminole County needs this money to improve its infrastructure and schools. Great infrastructure attracts great businesses and keeps current businesses in place and growing. I'm sure you agree with me. Good businesses pay good taxes, offer good jobs, offer good wages, which can be turned into cash and happiness. And I know some of you say about cash doesn't necessarily reflect into happiness, but I'm saying to you, I'd rather be an unhappy rich person than an unhappy poor person. Countries, states, counties, and cities are all trying to figure out how to get more business. They do it through tax incentives, great infrastructure, great schools, an educated population, and you mix this all together, you get a great lifestyle. Now I'm sure you agree with me also, not all countries, not all states, counties, and cities doing an equally good job in providing these services. Some don't have the infrastructure, some don't have the schools. They don't attract the educated population, they don't attract the good businesses for the high-paying jobs. Now, some of the uninformed voters might be saying, well, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? But that's not what the question is. You can't attract good businesses without having the infrastructure and the schools. And once you're there and attract the business, it's self-perpetuating because good businesses want to be with good businesses. However, you've got to keep it up. And Seminole County has done a great job in maintaining the infrastructure and the job. Let me give you an example. I'm sure you all have seen the Verizon building, which was built right off I-4 and the Heathrow exit. They brought in 300 new jobs, 300 more are coming, and the reason they came here is because of the infrastructure this county offers, and the schools.
Now, what were the voters who are against the tax say? I really can't find any sensible information other than the same old rhetoric being against everything, like the county already has too much money, I'm already overtaxed, the commissioners are getting paid too much money. Oh, I've heard they're paying for the Sunrail system, or even worse yet, they might be paying for the Orlando soccer stadium. None of which is true, has nothing to do with a 1-cent sales tax. And this was all refuted by the pro-tax folks anyways. Here's my opinion. Living anywhere is not tax-free. And having lived in Seminole County for 26 years, and all the services to provide, I don't think we're overtaxed. I don't know how it is to live in East or West Volusia County. In fact, I don't know how it is to live in any other county in Florida without being prejudicial or sounding prejudicial. And there are great areas in all the counties, by the way. If I have to live in Central Florida, I prefer living in Seminole County because according to the income ratios of all the residents all over Florida, Seminole County ranks number 7, Volusia County 27, Osceola 22, and Orange County 40. So according to this simple information, I think that Seminole County management and its commissions have done a pretty damn good job to attract its businesses to have such high-paying jobs, ranking out of 67 that high. Now, what was a pro and against tax vote doing anyways, or what were the impacts? A yes vote meant the sales tax was increasing on the average for Seminole County residents between $200 and $400 per year. Now, if you buy a lot of stuff on the internet, that's mitigated, so you pay less. Also, some of these taxes are paid by people from outside Seminole County because they live here and work here. A vote against the tax would have meant an increase in millage rate, which would have meant the average homeowner would have increased the taxes spending $1,000 to $8,000 per year. Now, some people say, I don't own a home, but if you live in Seminole County, the investor, the old homeowner, would have passed it on to you anyway. So to me, it was a vote between two lesser evils: lesser income in sales tax, higher in property tax. Now, what is this tax used for anyways? 65% is used for roads, sidewalks, bridges, bike path, sewers. 35% is used for schools and facilities. Mr. Toastmaster, nobody wants to pay more taxes. We are already overtaxed by the federal government as it is. But I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot voting no to see my tax bill, my property tax bill go up. Here's what I want you to do. As an informed voter here in Seminole County, speak up if you hear anybody saying or complaining about a 1-cent sales tax increase. Explain what the money is used for and tell them to look at their paycheck. And if they're still pissed off, I'm sorry, or unhappy, tell them to go to live in Union, Hardy, or Henry County because they're dead last in income and taxes. And I guarantee you also in schools and infrastructure. Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.
1 minute on the clock, please, with that whistle.
Republican nonsense. I'm trying to get the CR charted again.
If you live in Florida and Seminole County, you, of course, we know that sometimes we recount our votes. So whatever was your voting for the Senate, we'll have to recount that from what we heard from Ernst. In order to move on with our program this morning, I'm now going to invite our club president, who will come up not only for the table topics, but he's also going to be guiding us in the election. Let's welcome Mr. Stephen Morgan.
Thank you, Gus. It's that time. As we're coming up to the end of the Toastmasters year on June 30th, we need our officers for the July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015 year. We have had a few people express their interest. We have to make sure that we're going to approve all of them. We're going to begin first with the office of President. And the one nomination we have had so far has been Erica Benfield. And at this time, I will ask simply, is there anyone else who wishes to make a nomination at this time for the office of Club President? Always throw your own name out too, by the way, if you want to. Except you can't throw out mine, so I'm not allowed to leave.
How much is the pay? Air Force One.
I hear you'll make twice as much as I did. Without any nominations forthcoming, I can declare nominations closed. Erica, do you want to speak at this point in time? You do not have to, but...
I will hold my speaking for the next meeting.
All right. Without any other nominations and only one in place, I can entertain a motion to pass on the secret ballot.
I make the motion.
Pass on the secret ballot. Therefore, if there are no objections, anyone wish to say no, then Erica, congratulations, you can take on this reign. From President, we move down to VP Education. This is the one who will be handling the scheduling of the meetings. Who wants to do what? Yes?
I nominate Stephen Ward.
Okay.
Anybody want a second?
Oh, I'll second that.
Don't need a second nomination.
There we go.
All right. You're out of order. I'll do it.
As
The other
usual.
person.
Are there any other nominations for Vice President Education? Anyone else want to play with it? You'll be fine. If there are no other nominations, I can declare them closed. There's no other candidate. Would anyone like the motion to dispense on secret ballot?
I make the motion.
A second.
Second, anyone? I'll just simply ask any objections. No objections, okay, I'll do it for the next year. You'll be hopefully enjoying that. Next office, Vice President membership. We have, at this point, nomination for Gus Davies for Vice President membership. And I have heard that Bud is willing to do Vice President membership. He's not willing to do anything else, but he's willing to do Vice President membership. Are there any other nominations for Vice President membership? This is the person who is supposed to be greeting our guests and providing them materials, helping them get recruited, helping new members get involved, and making sure existing members are getting what they need. Any other nominations? Okay, I can declare them closed if there are no objections. Since we do have two candidates, we can't exactly dispense on secret ballot. Gus, would you like the opportunity to speak? Okay. Then, Erica, if you can time for 2 minutes and blow the whistle at 2, by all means. Gus Davies.
Yes. Well, Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters and guests, Bud is actually the one that recruited me to be in Toastmasters. He was my fellow colleague at the YMCA, where we were doing yoga together, and I didn't see him at yoga for some time. Then he told me, come to Toastmasters, and he said, you have to go through the rank and file. So to come up to this point and to be VP for Public Relations, I've learned a lot from Bud, but also I think I've noticed that his absence is very evident here at the meeting, and we are really wanting to get guests to come to our meetings, so we're inviting people. It's important when you walk in, like when Joseph walked in today. Joseph is a guest, someone to meet him, and then to be able to have him welcome. So I look forward to doing this. I'll be able to have each one of you to help me in that role, how we can invite people, we can cause more awareness of our club and get new members joining the club. Not only coming as visitors, like we have today, but from a visitor to a member and fully participating. I will see our club will be able to increase, and maybe we could not only multiply, but we'll be able to advance in many areas. Mr. President.
Would anyone like to speak on Bud's behalf? Okay. Then at this time, if anyone needs, I can hand out paper, or if you can rip off something for one of those. Would anyone like to volunteer for being Valley Counter?
I can.
Okay, so Sergeant at Arms shall come around. Just simply write your vote, either Gus or Bud.
No, just for the, something ready.
VP for Public, sorry, VP member Jones.
Oh, member, sorry. Yeah, that's true. Stephanie, you think that's small enough?
You know where Stephanie was.
It's a small name.
That's what I said.
Are all ballots turned in?
Both of them were 3 letters.
Are all ballots turned in? Thank you. Well, while Alexandra is counting, we have time to get a table topic squeezed in. Aha, yes, this is how such a thing will work. Therefore, what honorary degree do you deserve? Carrie.
What honorary degree do I deserve? None. I just no idea.
Doctor of BS, right?
Doctor.
I'm not thinking down. Really not. I really don't know what to say.
Said the word of the day.
I was always wrong there.
All right, votes are in. We had, and by majority vote, Gus D will be our vice president membership for the coming year.
Right there.
The next office is Vice President Public Relations. This is the one who's supposed to be getting our information to outside the club. This could be the traditional media, making sure we're advertising newspapers, getting out press releases. This could also be online presence as well. We have a nomination of Paul Walsh's office to take on Vice President Public Relations. Are there any other nominations for VP Public Relations?
I nominate Karen Bird for that position.
Gary, would you accept the nomination?
Our eyes are about it.
That's your honorary degree, VP.
Any other nominations for VP Public Relations?
I'd like to nominate James Bishop.
I second it.
Oh.
I do not think I would have the time to be able to do such a thing. So I think it would be a disservice to do it.
It's only 5 hours a week.
Next year.
Well, 5 minutes, I'm sorry.
Any other nominations for VP Public Relations? Since we seem to have exhausted all possibilities now, we can declare those closed. Any motion to dispense with the secret ballot since we don't need it?
Yes,
Sounded like, any objections, anyone? All right, we shall tell Paul it's all his now. We move on to the next office, secretary. And for the office of secretary, Carrie Bird has offered to take that role. Any other nominations?
You're trying to give her help work.
Let's try to keep Paul that back, it's okay.
Any other nominations for the office of secretary? I think we already have that one. Any others? Okay, we can declare it closed if no objections. Dispense on secret ballot, anybody?
Yes.
Any objections? Okay, Carrie, then you'll get to take on the reign of secretary. Next is the office of treasurer. The office of treasurer, we have actually 2 nominations. Both Diane and Ernst had shown interest in treasurer.
I withdraw my nomination.
I can see.
If my wife finds out, she's getting divorced. Another thing.
It was greatly auspicious.
Wrong usage.
It was auspicious?
Wrong usage.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
It's a problem. It's
50 cents.
okay.
Citizen, shake the
Shake it.
Twice then. And even that out.
For Marion Fight, let's sell this elsewhere.
It's a word off.
Diane, did you want an opportunity to speak for?
Actually, I would, since it doesn't matter. I will speak, and you don't have to blow the whistle, I promise.
How about?
I'm learning on the timer. I just want to say that this is my opportunity to just say that I'm really proud that I'm a member of this club. That I think it offers a variety of opportunities for everybody to enhance their personal growth. And as treasurer, I'm going to try and get more members in here, work with the rest of the officers, so that everybody will be on the same page and try to encourage the membership to be driven higher and more money's in our account. And as I am a quite informed person, I will make sure that there will be no extra pennies or anything that are given to the treasurer. Thank you.
Do we wish to motion to dispense with the secret ballot? Okay. Any objections? There aren't any objections, then congratulations, Diane, you'll get to stay in the And our last official office of Sergeant at Arms, we have Alexandra as willing to do that. You've already seen her doing some of it already.
Great job.
Perfect person. Any other nominations for the office of Sergeant at Arms?
Nope. It's all yours.
I'll jump ahead. Okay, Alexander, you get the for another year. We have the unofficial office of VP mentorship. We haven't put into our bylaws, so we don't really have it officially. Stephanie is offered to take on that role. Is there anyone else who is interested in helping with the mentoring program? Officially, this is part of VP Ed's responsibilities, but we've often had someone else taking on to help with that. VP Ed often has a lot on the plate.
I think Stephanie's perfect.
Yes, I couldn't think of anybody more perfect.
Yep.
Did you want to say anything, Stephanie?
Not necessary now.
Okay.
I'm ruining it.
Well then, officers for the upcoming year, congratulations.
Can I say something about the positions in general, very quickly? Okay. Whatever you've been selected, elected, or consigned to do, remember that we overlap, and that if someone is not here, that function should not go lacking. If the VP of membership is not able to make a tent card for someone, the VP education or one of the other secretary, have the stock, have it in place so that you can give it. Someone's going to be away extended. People should not go without what they need. And we back up each other. If you're not able to put a new member in as the treasurer, Diane, then president, someone else will put them in, secretary will put them in, so that people get their materials in a timely fashion, no one falls through the cracks. That's all I have to say. We back each other up.
I can let you know that the officer training that is being planned for July is July 11th. So but that's the primary one. I'm sure there'll be makeups after that.
And
But put that on your calendar.
also, just on that, if you get all 7 officers
go for
trained,
all 7.
you get credit and usually get some
Money.
sort of extra benefit from TI for doing that, right?
Okay.
From the district.
The district.
From the district will offer, if we can get all 7 well, now that they've got it, that you have to actually show up to the original training.
Oh, the same
makeups.
time
Yeah.
as it?
Yes.
Time as it?
Usually in the morning.
It's usually 9 to 3.
Is that a Saturday?
Yes.
Saturday, my son is here. Okay, then.
If we can get all 7 trained, even in makeups, we usually get something for the banner, or maybe a little bit of a gift certificate in there. We do need to get at least 4 trained for the Distinguished Club program credit. That's the one that's, yeah.
These are all new officers. They all need to go to training. The first training will
Yep.
give you the
I'll
biggest
try.
picture
I'll try.
of what Toastmasters is about.
Oh, it's probably,
When
I assume it's the Calvary again.
when a part to play at.
Yeah, it's-
Can you send an email?
Yes, the information will be coming to you for sure. And now we still have time for another table topic. What was the most inspiring commencement speech you have ever heard? Okay, Stephanie, you're hiding.
The most inspiring commencement exercise I had was probably just this past Sunday. It was at my church, and they were acknowledging the high school and college graduates, and they did a big production out of it, putting it up on the screen, all of their achievements, where they're going on, the parents is below, and the charge to the graduates. It was inspiring. It wasn't just the usual trite, the usual thing. It wasn't that, this auspicious occasion, you had the world in front of you. There was a real charge to people to conduct themselves in a manner that would reflect well on their parents, on their training, on the church, on their community. And it was very inspirational. I enjoyed it.
Good luck to the officers. A good auspicious beginning for all of you. See you next month.
Thank you. Well done, and congratulations, fellow officers, and we look forward to serving together. At each graduation, you all will remember who have to do their caps and their gowns. This is all I can find this morning from going through many graduation programs. But as you think about cap and gown, all of those have roots and when it started. Did you know that the reason why they wore the cap and the gown was because in the rooms where the graduation ceremonies were taking place, it was very cold. And they wanted these graduates being dignified at the ceremony to stay warm. So they actually had them to wear the cap and the gown, and some had the hood that they also used. And so there was a historical precedent that it had taken. But today we can see that all caps and gowns have all colors and shapes and sizes, and all those have meaning. And finally, have you been to the Naval Academy graduation? How many have been to one of those? Have you been to a Navy Academy graduation? What is really noted about the Navy Academy graduation? What do you see them do? They will toss their hats. And that started in 1912 at the Navy Academy, where they started that ceremony of tossing of the cap. And actually, what they do at that ceremony, and most of those caps that are tossed, you will have to put in the cap your name, and also you have to put in a number of money. If you're going to be a graduate of 2014, you can put in a $20 bill, and you can also put $14, 2014, you can put it in. And you necessarily are not going to be the one that we get. So when they toss it, there are all these kids who have come with their uncles and their aunts to the ceremony, and sometimes they just release them to go in there and find the cap and gown. Sometimes they will get one with some money and a name, or sometimes it will just be as blank as this. So that's the tradition that goes with the tossing of the cap. And finally, to wrap up my time this morning, we want to move along to the general evaluator, and I'm going to invite their officer shortly to be in office as treasurer. Let's welcome Diane, who's going to be our general evaluator for this year.
We're running a little bit behind, so I'm just going to skip a few of the comments, which is very unusual for me. But I'm going to try to get us back on time. The reason that I'm here is to just oversee the entire meeting and to make sure that everybody does their jobs correctly and that we stay on time. And today, I just want to bring up our next evaluators so that they can evaluate the speeches that were given by James and Ernst. And I'm hoping that they will remember to really focus on the skills that they're looking at doing. So please let's welcome Alexandra, who is going to be giving her evaluation on James's excellent speech.
I'm going to be evaluating this morning James on project number 6, which is vocal variety. And based on these criteria, James, I closed my eyes pretty much during your whole speech. I didn't want to focus on nothing else but your voice. And what I hear is your voice was very pleasant to listen to. You have proper balance of volume. I heard pitch, which is low and down. I heard that. I paid attention. And the rate was definitely there. Your speech was fast enough to keep our attention, but at the same time slow to cut and for us to digest where you were, the message was where you're trying to convey. You had a good quality that conveyed friendliness and natural as well. You are enjoyable and pleasant to listen to. I really, really love your energy. If I need to do something different on your speech, I will definitely use advantage or take advantage of the silence and the pauses. Everything else was there. We're wishing during the whole speech, where's the pause? I need the pause, I need the silence to make it powerful because everything else was right there. To conclude, I want to say that James, you are a natural speaker. You're so natural. Your body language was I was trying not to see, just focus on your voice, but you're so natural. And I want for you to please continue doing what you're doing. You have a great energy, like I mentioned 20,000 times before. Your expressiveness is right there. So I'm looking forward to hearing your next speech, and please use the pauses.
Thank you, Alexandra, and thank you, James, for being evaluated on the great speech. Now we would like Julia to come up. She's going to evaluate Ernst's speech, which may have been a little provocative, but hopefully.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and Joseph, our guests today, and especially Ernst. It's a big privilege to evaluate your speech today. I happen to agree and take your point of view. Ernst is working out of our Confident Communications Manual on project number 9, which is to persuade with power. For me, to listen to someone who I feel is an auspicious, confident speaker, these are the qualities I look for. I want somebody that exuberates confidence, that's loud, that has great vocal variety, and moves around and just knows their topic. On those points is how I evaluated you, and I feel you hit every one. You are a very confident speaker, enthusiastic and motivational, I feel. You spoke on a very controversial topic. The vote is pretty much split. You have strong feelings on both ways. I felt you came out and were able to provide your point of view that was backed with fact, that was backed with examples that you were an authority. You've lived in Seminole County for 27 years, and you're a business person. And all the facts I feel well established and backed your point of view. In the evaluation, it asked, because it's persuade with power, it asked, were you successful? Did you persuade your audience? For me, you didn't have to persuade because I'm already on that side. I take that from my experience as a Seminole County. I moved to Seminole County for that very reason. I want to be by like people, successful people that supports their community, that has good school systems, all of those things, and you get what you pay for. So that penny that we're including in that tax, we get what we paid for. We had it for all those years. That's what makes Seminole County powerful. We lost it because of it expired. We're bringing it back because we know it will do the county good. So I absolutely agree on your points. I had to put that in, Diane. I happen to be sitting next to two people, I believe, that disagree with that. So it is something, but I felt that absolutely we can agree to disagree, but I felt what you had to say really provided a good persuasive story that you met all the criteria in this project to the T. And I really look forward to your next speech, which is inspiring, because you definitely are an inspiring speaker. Thank you.
So we're back on time, which is really great. Thank you, Alexandra, you did that for us. And we're going to get our technical table reports, and then I'm going to get the general evaluation of the meeting. So could we possibly have Erica with the timer? I don't know which one goes first, so let's start right to the left.
Thank you, General Evaluator Diane. I think I might have intimidated most of you today.
I know that.
And I find it interesting that nobody's wondered why it's attached to my keys on a regular basis. However, here's my report. James Bishop used 4 minutes and 37 seconds, and the allotted time was 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Ernst used 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Allotted time was 5 to 7
We were
minutes.
just sharing. That's all it was.
Table topics, Carrie Bird, 25 seconds with pauses. Stephanie Bonnie Bird, 48 seconds. Evaluator Alexandra Balda, 1 minute and 25 seconds. Time allotted 2 to 3 minutes. Julia Kaufman, 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Allotted time 2 to 3 minutes. That is my report.
Thank you very much. For Marion, Ms. Stephanie, would you please give us your report?
I'm going to try. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. The word of the day was auspicious, not pissed off. It was used by Stephen Morgan, James Bishop, Diane somewhat. Where is she?
It's correct.
Okay. Oh, you're right there. Erica, Julia, myself. Anybody else use it?
I use it too.
Alex?
Yes.
Alex
And
Ernst. Alex and Ernst. Okay, you escaped the box. Okay. What do we have for flavorful? Julia, you were absolutely eloquent in your. What's the matter? Oh, in your presentation, your evaluation there. What do we have? James, you imparted to, not on, okay? And you were dissatisfied, not unsatisfied. And the success at prepositions, not at the end of the sentence. Okay. He's an accomplished speaker, so he needs to know these things because he's always striving to go to the next level, so he knows I'm not picking.
Yay, grammar mistakes.
Okay. Now, what did you say?
Yay, grammar mistakes.
Yeah. Okay. Ernst, you were speaking from the communication manual, not on it. And what? Stop laughing. And if good businesses pay good taxes, bad businesses pay bad taxes. And if it's pretty damn good, you canceled out damn. Good with damn. Okay. And we got the pissed offs. All right. Diane?
Yes, I'm here.
She's on mute.
This is so cute. You skipped a few of your comments, which is unusual for you. And who do we have here? Where's Erica?
Right next to
Erica. Erica, you're clean. But Alexandra, I loved your take advantage of the silence. You have one or two in here that I'll tell you about later. And that is about it. That's my report. Thank you.
And now, for Terry with the counter report, upon which I will have made many.
Madam Evaluator, Alexandra, 2 ahs, 1 Gus, 3 ahs, 2 ums. Stephanie was clean, Eric was clean. I have no idea what I did, so.
Pregnant pauses.
Yes. About 5.
Yes.
James, 1 ah, 1 light, 1 so, and 1 double clutch. Ernst, 2 ahs, 1 1 double clutch. Stephen, 1 ah. Diane, 12 ahs, 1 1 but 2 ands.
So we get to the end, and I just want to go over how the meeting seemed to go to me. Of course, it is my opinion only, because this is the first time that I have done this. I think that Alexandra did a great job as Toastmaster and got everything going correctly and on time, and, as the president. And Gus, you did a great job as Toastmaster with your topic on graduation. I enjoyed listening to about the music and getting some information. You flowed through, you stayed a little over time on a couple of occasions, but for the most part it went well. Our elections seemed to take a little bit of time, so it's a good thing that we didn't have very many competitions. But I think it was an auspicious occasion for us so that we will hand the offices over to new blood so other people can learn to take on more leadership positions and become more integrated in the club. And of course, I hope that we will all look to our old officers so that we know what we're doing. Now, our table topics, we had just a couple of them. I mean, actually, it was very good. Stephen, I enjoyed the questions and the stumpers. But you seemed to stump both Stephanie and Carrie, although Stephanie came around. So that was really good. And then our evaluators. Alexandra, that was perfect. You can blow the whistle, go. That was perfect, Alexandra. The way you did that was just great. You set on the immediate goals that Gus was looking to achieve, and you went right on. And I love the part about the silence. Oh, sorry, James. And I love the part about the silence. And then Julia, besides the personal comments, the rest of the evaluation was good, because the personal comments could, you know what, it's okay for everybody to disagree, and I may have some really strong opinions in the future, so I hope that there will be some controversy then. We are closing our meeting on time, almost closing it, and we have to have our president back. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
To get the schedule for next week straight, I will not be here because I will be at a commencement coming next week out in California. Jorge will be your Toastmaster. He'll also be handling presidential duties. Speakers listed are Pablo and Erica, and there's an open slot available. Table topics. Yes, Stephanie, you want it? Is that what you're saying?
A speaker?
Yeah, okay. Stephanie wants that one.
For what, speaker?
Table topics, Susanna.
Oh, I'm sorry.
General Evaluator Diane, but you did it this
Oh,
week, so I'm not
yes.
sure if you want to do it again.
No, I prefer not to. I prefer to be a speaker if there's an extra slot.
Alexandra?
Alexandra wants General Evaluator,
I
okay.
agree.
Evaluators listed, well, Stephanie doesn't want that one.
Thanks, Steph.
We have Pat and Bud is listed. Bud is supposed to be back, actually gets back today. There's an open evaluator slot then. Pat is listed as grammarian, Carrie for timer, and Martin for odd counter. Does anyone want to take on the other evaluator role that's there?
I'll be in
Diane,
time.
all right.
For who?
I do not know if the other Toastmasters are
Secret.
Are there any other announcements or orders of business? Better see you all here again next week. Oh, that's right, our guest, Joseph. What did you think of the meeting?
All right.
How to get out of here?
Yes, we're running out of time.
Alright, man, this is my first Toastmaster. I didn't really know what to expect, so, I mean, I liked it. It was very entertaining. It was very smooth for the most part, so, I liked it a lot.
Good, thank you. All right, then 8:32, we shall see you here next week.